Guys are certainly one of the best.
Speaking of Gatekeepers, we're going to get to see them coming up next. It's going to be Gatekeepers up against Pulse Trunk.
Okay.
I actually want to know the story on their name. I hope they can let me know.
I can't let you know.
Yeah, I really want to know the story on their team. As far as team compositions, we've seen very different things from yesterday.
Right.
Unique stuff as well. Is there a favorite one that you've been really enjoying watching?
A favorite team composition?
Yeah.
I've really been enjoying watching Game On play. I
Yeah?
really like watching the team play between the Thorn and the Taya, both with the EX Base and the Tornado. I think it's very fun, and I think at its core, it's top-level Battlerite. That is the way Battlerite should be played, and to see it be played to such a high degree is very cool.
So the draft is going to be going underway very shortly. We'll say it one more time for the day, mostly because I have no other time to say it. Blind, single, simple draft. I'm not going to explain it again. Gatekeepers and Pulse Trunk.
Yep.
Team composition we're expecting. We're going to start with a Blossom against a Thorn. We've already seen that that's not amazing, but it's still very doable.
Yeah.
I think, again, picking Blossom first. As far as champions that are going to be chosen first, what are the ones that you they're obviously the most counterable ones you don't want to come out.
Right. Yeah, I think it really just depends on what you expect your opponent to play. I'm a little bit surprised by this Blossom pick first, but I think Gatekeepers did it earlier on too. So they must just be feeling like if you play Blossom properly, there aren't any things that can really hard counter it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm very surprised that they are making the Blossom work so well. The Thorn, going to be against the Blossom, there is some weaknesses there, of course, with Entangling Roots.
Yep. We're going to see a Baco and Jamong for the next one. So Baco supporting the Blossom. Baco does like them trees because he can kind of go in and have that tree to support if he does need at a long range. We're going to see Jamong. And they're going to have Rain of Arrows and a Thorn Ultimate and the Thorn AoE to deal with that tree. So Blossom's going to be very particular as to where she puts that tree.
Yeah, she'll have to be very careful. I think this last pick for Gatekeepers will probably be an Esmo. I really like the Esmo into the side of Pulse Trunk. You can do a lot of nice things, fishing with the Chaos Grip, trying to find the Jumon kill. Oh, and they're running with the Ashka again. Okay, so Hot Biscuit feeling really good with the Ashka into this meta. This kind of surprises me a little bit because of the Thorn. Thorn has a pretty okay matchup into Ashka simply because he can so easily force outs like the Molten Fist with the grab, the pull, and the Entangling Roots. So it's a little bit of a surprising pick, and Pulse Trunk finishing off with the Paloma. Interesting.
So apparently the story behind their team name is that Pulse is their old team name, and Drunk is because Biceps is apparently frequently intoxicated.
Nice.
Yeah, so there you go, Pulse Drunk. I thought it was maybe a play on like Punch Drunk or stuff like that, but apparently not. Apparently it's a little bit more directed and maybe a little bit more insulting.
Yeah, they're
Good
calling
job,
their
boys.
friend an alcoholic. Nice.
Good job, boys. Hopefully he's not right now and you guys can win this. But we're going to see Paloma for the final pick there on Pulse Drunk. Paloma, we've seen here and there, not nearly as successful as she has been in the past. She used to be very, very strong in very particular compositions, especially with Varesh. But even so, we're not seeing Fortress have the success it used to.
Yeah, not quite as much success. I do like the Paloma with the Thorn, though. That was one of the comps from a couple patches ago that was really, really strong. It's similar to Xander. Thorn needs the extra out occasionally, and other side is that great hard out. I'm very interested to see how this Jumong Paloma backline handles the Baco. We saw the Baco of Rutha handle the backline of Impact so easily early on. I think Pulse Drunk have a pretty tall order ahead of them.
I think just from what I've seen so far, I'm going to go with Gatekeepers. You thinking the same?
I do.
Yeah, let's see what everybody else thinks. What do the voters think? 77% Gatekeepers, 23% Pulse Drunk. Maybe Biceps will need to drink a little bit after this one, after realizing that people don't think it's going to win. 23% for Pulse Drunk, so that's not very great in their favor. Their team composition, you're gonna having that extra out for Thorn, I think, is always really fun. It also makes them a lot more. What?
I'm still just laughing at your joke.
Okay, good.
You're just a funny dude.
I'm hilarious. That's good. Maybe you should all in chat spam I'm hilarious, and then I'll go back and read it at home while I'm crying, and it'll help me stop crying. Paloma, we don't see her nearly as frequently. She is frustrating to go against, but she has found a lot less strength, and it's not even because of kit changes. I think it's just the current meta and people learning to deal with her.
She got some numbers reduced that were pretty problematic.
Yeah.
And she saw just a couple meta changes that kind of brought her out. I'm very nervous, though, for this Paloma. We saw the Ashka of Hot Biscuit absolutely tear to shreds Gaddafi, who I would consider to be one of, if not the best Palomas in the world. So to see him play up against Pulse Drunk, I'm a little worried for him.
Yeah, I mean, when we saw Paloma being pretty predominant, it was when it was almost dumb to not pick her. She had just the way everybody played. Her spacebar was so unbelievably strong. It reduced for so much, and she had so much heals, especially when she soul linked everybody. So now that she has some of those numbers tweaked down a little bit and she's not nearly as strong, it's going to take a little bit more finesse to find the value out of her. But once you have somebody, people have just understood, like, oh, we'll keep putting pressure and let's just get in the way. I'm a melee person. If I just stand in front of Paloma, She's not going to be able to find her allies.
Yeah, you can't heal if you're in front of her, right?
Yeah, you can't. And that's, again, a big flaw of those champions that rely on the M1 heals as opposed to the M2 heals. They need the line of sight, and they need to actually be able to hit. It's a skill shot now to heal. So if she can't find that, and if she has too much pressure on her, people know about that panic now. They're not silly. Palomas don't really build the panic reset as often as they used to. It almost used to be like a sure shot. We don't see it as much. But we'll see when we get into it. It should be any second now. I'm going to keep saying that. I think I just heard it's going to be literally any second now. And then I'm just a big fan of seeing any kind of Bako play. But Bako with Ashka, super fun. In caps and volcanoes.
I just love watching Rutha, man. Rutha is so good at this character. He plays so methodically. You can see in his play that he has a complete understanding of how he needs to execute the match. And he almost never falters. The dude's incredibly good.
Already spamming the Battlerite choices.
We see Hot Biscuit with his signature build. I really like this about him. He always goes Inspiration, and he always goes the slow on Ignite, paired with the Firewall buff as well as the moving M2. It's very good for building energy fast. And when I think about Hot Biscuit on Ashka, I think about those ult combos. I think about him Infernal Scorching under a Bako in cap and just bursting somebody down from 100% to 0.
And then looking at Bako, he's going to go with the Snare Axe, his Bravery spacebar, his Weaken on his Bulwark. So, I mean, if you're going against a Thorn or any melee Weaken, you're always going to find value out of. Plus, it does give you the extra mobility.
Right.
So it does give you that kind of feign, like when your Bulwark's down, you're really going to hit me now? Am I gonna? And then you dash away from something, and they usually miss. Oh, it looks like it's actually changed. She was going to go with damage and Snare, Weaken and Bravery, and then the damage on his E. I think the Snare is going to be good at going against people like Paloma, people like Jamong, just to kind of lock them down a little bit so you can secure that spacebar.
Right. Yeah, this spacebar is the biggest thing for Rutha, so the fact that he's taking the Snare makes a lot of sense.
Trying to be very careful of that panic. The Bulwark is down. The Prowl is now down, though, for Geekish Nerd. We saw a great Jade from him earlier, so I'm excited to see his Jumong.
Blue team complete mid-control. The Gatekeepers standard. As we saw against Impact, they're going to zone out Pulse Trunk and take the first orb for free. Really sets him up for success in the later stages of this round.
I mean, unless Thorn has the pull, I don't see them getting many orbs in this series. Incapacitate on a Jamong, so it's going to let him actually just find some damage on the Paloma. There's going to be damage on Thorn. He's actually standing in the damage over time, and there you go.
Wow.
Paloma gets shredded through by Rutha.
Really beautiful play from Jolt's EX spacing and predicting that swap from Paloma and finding the kill. Really nicely done to ensure that they got the kill and with it the round.
That was promising for Gatekeepers. I mean, this looks like it's going to be a clean 5-0 sweep if it stays in this route. Pulse Drunk will not get any orbs unless Thorn has his pull.
Yeah,
I almost guarantee that.
Yeah, they're going to need to find a way in with this Thorn. They're going to need to get a nice entangling roots or something like that. Maybe a burrow onto Rutha when he has his Bulwark up to kind of mess up his cooldown rotation. Yep. They're going to have to get something out of it because if they just get zoned out of mid like that every round, it's going to be nigh impossible to win.
And they want to get Rain of Arrows, but you have both Hot Biscuit with his E and Ashka with, Hot Biscuit and Rutha with their E's to push it out. So even Rain of Arrows won't have the same orb pressure that we can see, and it's not a very definitive way to lock down orb because you can't assure that final tick. There's the pulls down. Rutha opts to retreat with the dash from the Weaken on the Bulwark. M2s from Ashka. Finding a lot of Ignite damage and the stun. Look at that Thorn. Even around the corner took a lot of damage. Couldn't get the pull. There it is again, the push out from range.
My God, and the Gatekeepers are standing at the gate and keeping Pulse Trunk out of that choke, not letting them in mid and securing the first orb for free. And it's looking like with this energy, they might just find a big combo. Of course, Biceps is sitting on a full ultimate. We'll see what he is able to do with it. The Firewall is the answer to the Dragon Slayer. Ashka has to play a little bit safe here, and he does get hit by that Ghost Wolf. Very unfortunate for Hot Biscuit.
The Dragon Slayer is still there, though, because Bako ended up getting an incapacity. So here's the Dragon Slayer. He's going to find Bako just as he lands, but he's got an ult himself. There's the ult from Thorn. He doesn't have the space to follow. Figured Rutha might try and hunt him down, but he wasn't aware of the rotation. Doesn't know if Thorn has his spacebar. He's trying to get it out of him. He knows he's the easiest target for his ult. And there it is. Now he might charge it up.
Oh, he does. Oh, the Barbed Husk is canceled. Oh, so unfortunate there for Sephiroth. Definitely not what you want to have happen, but they might be able to get this orb to make up for it, and they do.
They do, but we have Hot Biscuit with an ultimate. He's going to hide behind a wall. That is his favorite place to ult from.
Oh, yes.
Out of sight. Lands one of his M2. Geekish Nerd wants to try and poke where he can.
And this is why I really like Hot Biscuit's build. He's able to use the Firewall while still having an ultimate. The Dance of the Dryads comes out here, trying to get some outs so Hot Biscuit can ultimate, but he doesn't get too many, just a little bit of damage on the Biceps. Ooh, the Dragon Slayer getting no value.
Jolt pressing F more than I think anybody has ever. Wow. Nice double in cap.
Yeah, unfortunately Hot Biscuit was a little bit too far to capitalize with the Volcano, but still. setting the pace of this round. The other side is narrowly going to protect Sephirodot from that volcano.
That was a great volcano. Oh, Paloma going in to try and get a panic on Hot Biscuit, but he knows better than that.
Beautiful.
There's an
Beautiful.
Oh my God!
That is exactly what we expect from GateKeepers, and that huge combo is going to help them snowball through the rest of this round. He placed the volcano under it, he let the Infernal Scorch rip, and Hot Biscuit going to ruin Polstrunk's day.
I'm pretty sure Hot Biscuit just did like 250 damage in a split second.
That's Hot Biscuit. That's that Ashka we come to know and love. That dude's incredibly good. He's finding that opening, and Rutha doing such a great job constantly getting these double in caps, even when he's against a Paloma, a character that you would think you shouldn't be able to do that against because of the swap and the other side. Rutha's still managing to do his job.
And again, that is knowing the trade as a Bako. When you know you have in cap up, you can bulwark in, you can use your E. You take 30, 35 damage, but then you get a double in cap because you force pressure. You're just going to get healed up.
Yeah.
You didn't actually lose anything, and that's, again, knowing the trades, knowing when you have to use your CC to protect yourself the most. So Rutha still keeping so much health by putting those in caps into his kit and making sure that he rotates them almost constantly. I'm pretty sure he doesn't even have his normal space keybound.
Yeah, probably not. We see another in cap to start this one off on the Jumong. This orb is very important. Red team does get it, but they're still going to fall behind here a little bit in terms of energy. However, Rutha takes quite a punish.
Yeah, she's spacebar is forward retreat. We don't see him do that very often. The Tree of Life stays alive there. The pull onto Jolts, he has to spacebar back out.
That's that buff, that Tree of Life staying alive just a little bit longer thanks to that plus 8 HP. Now we see the in cap try to come out, but Biceps dodges it with the immaterial.
But it does force the other side, which means the other side is down, and Rutha knows it, so he wants to stick in there. Oh my God, he has his spacebar out, just barely staying alive. Didn't get pulled in by that. That's unfortunate.
That's life right there.
Hi, Jolts.
Sometimes you just get paused, and you know, that's okay. But yeah, Jolts not healing up Rutha as much as you would have expected, so maybe a little bit of an internet issue. Hopefully he comes back here. He is still disconnected, but we do have an unpause. A little bit of a... So we're going to go do a little bit of a break while we get that worked out. But GateKeepers, they're looking really good, Carpet.
I mean, first of all, getting a triple, I think with the triple in cap. I really think he got pulled for that triple in cap, followed by the Volcano, followed by the Ultimate. Just talking about literally 3 abilities. Dumping damage on them. Like it was disgusting.
Yeah.
I like watching them play. I love watching the way that Jolts plays Blossom. I've never seen somebody spam ultimate ever that much. Like he spams more ults than a Thorn.
Yeah.
That's all Thorn does. And supports can build up energy way faster than anybody else because they get energy for healing.
Yep.
They can actually not be in danger and build up energy to ultimates. And Blossoms love putting themselves in risky situations. Not risky, but in that edge where they can still get the weekend on the M1s. They can still get the Boom Blooms. They can place their tree for protection if something big comes their way. And they're healing everybody. And then the tree heals. It's insane. So he's spamming his ultimate like an absolute madman. And they're trying to get orb control as well. Rutha is making all of the opponents use the abilities correctly. It's fun watching them play.
Yeah, I really enjoy watching them play. You talked a lot about how quickly Jolts gains energy. It really shows how quickly a Blossom can. She postures a little bit forward, as does Jolts. He throws out that empowered M1, which has the snare, which pretty much frees you up for another M1. Then you get the Bloom Boom going, and the energy is just rolling in, especially with that healing. And yeah, he really presses F a lot.
Yeah, he really does. Well, we have a little bit of downtime while we try and figure out what's going on in the match, making sure everyone can reconnect. Let's take a look at that replay of that amazing moment. I think it was a triple in cap, but I don't want to say before I can actually watch it. There was a pull or something happened here.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, let's just watch.
Look how far back
Rutha
Rutha is.
Beautiful.
Rutha weaving and bobbing in. There he finds the end cap.
There's 2, but then the burrow came in.
Oh, and then, oh no, the burrow. He pops up right into the volcano.
It's super unfortunate. So the pull was actually coming in from Blossom. So Blossom actually got pulled in, but it didn't even matter.
No, it didn't matter too much. Gosh, I feel bad for Sephirodot in that one. You know, he can't feel too good about popping up into his death.
I know he stayed there to protect his teammates, but it's still interesting that he wanted to stick that close to him and not just maybe find Rutha and pull him away. It is an interesting placement to pop up because in reality, Thorn doesn't have any AoE protection.
Yeah.
He's got his R. If he doesn't have it, you don't even need to be next to somebody. So interesting place to pop up. Maybe a bit of a I don't want to leave him.
I think it was a very interesting time to burrow as well. I think earlier on, maybe some other teams are a little bit behind the pace, but we saw Luminary using his EX space so much, and man, if you just think about it, that burrow is available. That EX space could have completely turned the tide of that round.
Yeah, as long as he was out of there from the incapacity. But it looks like we figured out what's going on. The game has resumed. The woman is letting me know. People have reconnected. I believe a little bit of the Scouts honor system. They're going to resume pace.
This orb very important here. GateKeepers are able to get it their first of the round, actually.
Bako has built up an ultimate. He'll play a lot more patient from that back line. Seferdad has so much health right now.
Ooh, nice entangling roots there. The tree wasn't quick enough to protect him. Rutha playing so dangerously low. They need this orb. He's looking for an in cap and finds it only on the Jumong. Not quite desirable, and Pulstrunk secures another orb.
I really like that aggressive ultimate from Paloma, also used at the same exact time as the in cap tried to come in from Bako. There's going to be two ultimates, one from Thorn, one from Ashka.
The Gust 2 on the Dragon Slayer, really nicely done by Jolts, reflecting some damage, but the difference in HP is still pretty massive, at least in comparison to melee characters. Rutha has to play so smart here.
Seferdad has some more time to spare, but he's still getting caught by so many abilities. All 3 M2 fire bolts from Ashka. The Rain of Arrows will find some value, but 3 ultimates for Gatekeepers. We know it's what they love, getting those combos.
I'm scared, Carpet. I'm scared for Pulstrunk here, as all of the Gatekeepers have that full bar of energy, like you mentioned. They're definitely going to want to just try to secure this orb as they do. Looking like Rutha is going to get it for free. And the sudden death coming in, Pulstrunk is going to have to find their way in towards mid.
There's the incapacitate, but the Paloma ultimate, well timed to protect him. There's going to be 1 stun. Will Ashka have another? This is real scary.
Yeah, this is not looking too good. All of the outs being used by Pulstrunk, but Ashka playing so incredibly patient. Both ultimates going to be used at once, a little bit of second.
Miss.
Yeah, very unfortunate there. The Dance of the Dryads is going to be the last, and he does get a decent amount of damage from it. The orb is secured by... Oh, the orb is secured by the red team, but it's not going to matter too much as 2 of them go down.
200% energy dumped all over the floor, but still Gatekeepers are able to take the victory. That was really close for them.
Yeah, that was a pretty rare sight to see from Gatekeepers. A little bit of a miscommunication there as they both felt a little bit antsy and pressed their ult at the same time. Generally, you see them layer them. Generally, you see one ultimate used at first to force outs and then another following it up when there are no outs. But that time it didn't matter too much as Pulstrunk still ended up going down.
Well, yeah, because if you think about it, you're using 2 ultimates for a kill.
Yeah.
200% energy for a kill. That's a pretty good trade.
It's worth it, yeah.
So the first one is literally just to use from ability. Like, hey, I am Bako, and I'm just going to do stuff. And then it's like, hi, I'm Ashka, and I'm going to actually kill you.
Yeah.
Gatekeepers now 2 rounds away from making this a clean sweep. They've showed absolute dominance so far in this match.
Yeah, they have. The Volcano from Hot Biscuit helping him farm up some energy early on, too. Looking pretty good for the boys in blue to start this one off. A double in cap from Rutha. Rutha doing the Rutha thing. Things looking pretty good here. The Bulwark going to help him navigate his way out of the Rain of Arrows, plus the War Shout going to give him quite a lot of shielding. The tree is dropped in front of him, but immediately shredded.
Now we're going to see Paloma just wants to try and protect Seferdad, protect her team. Oh, the Rain of Arrows that time. It did get the final tick. It's kind of a shot in the dark sometimes, but it worked in their favor. Here comes the ultimate Dragon Slayer. He didn't time it with the wall like he wanted to, just a quarter second off. Nice attempt, though. I do like it.
Yeah, unideal there. This next orb spawning in about 5 seconds. It's very important. Gatekeepers falling a little bit behind here, and Pulstrunk pushing in with the momentum.
You don't see Thorn go the Battlerite of after he gets the pull to be able to get his spin. There it is.
Oh my god. Paloma was at full HP before that. Now she's all the way down to 80. The Dragon Slayer is the return, but it's not going to be nearly as successful. Ashka playing so aggressive. The double in cap coming out, but it's immediately broken, unfortunately. The Volcano there getting some more good damage on Geekish Nerd, and now with complete mid control, Gatekeepers looking to secure the 3rd orb.
So the Boom Bloom.
Oh, he is able to get it.
Jolts were able to snag that one. Gatekeepers do get at least 1 orb in this.
Beautiful.
With single, almost double incapacity, but forced the movement out of Geekish Nerd, so he has to play much safer now. Another ultimate from Jolts.
Wow, he's getting so much damage here. The Infernal Scourge going to finish off the Paloma, and now Thorn soon to follow as he eats that axe. The EXE going to hit the orb, a little bit unfortunate as Rutha feeds it to his enemies, but it's not going to matter too much.
Geekish Nerd now just can't out-rotate these cooldowns. He wants to snag that. He wants to snag that ultimate, but Jolts going to push him away, and now 1 round away from making this a clean sweep. Gatekeepers playing very well.
Absolutely, yeah, you mentioned it. Jolts is using so many ultimates, getting so much damage out, and not only is he using a lot of ultimates, but he's using them at very good times. We saw him find so much damage onto the biceps there on the Paloma. Very effective ultimates.
I will say, if you're not a fan of, some people don't like some characters' VO, you probably don't want to watch Jolts play if you're not a fan of Blossom's VO.
Yeah, probably not. You'll have to hear a lot of ultimate voice lines there.
Yeah. But then when you lose to it. Now we can see Bako going in. The Bulwark smacking Thorns and Tangle right back at him. It's going to buy him a little bit of time to push on this backline. He's getting caught in the corner. Look at this. Will he pay the price? He's going to be able to Bulwark out of there. He stays alive, but he took so much for it. But so did Paloma and Biceps. Their support, I'd say, is pretty important.
Yeah, that triple Boom Bloom from Jolts really helped Rutha get out of there. That would have been completely different had he not got that triple stun.
Hot Biscuit hiding behind the veil of his firewall. Oh, the wolf getting bounced right back. Bicep nearly just dying here at poke distance.
Oh, from downtown!
There it is!
Rutha! He gets the orb and finds the Paloma at the end of it. That's a pretty flashy play right there.
And the double incapacity followed by every ultimate known to man. They're ruthless.
Ruthless.
All right, I'm not giving you that one. I'm not giving you that one. How do I kick you off this desk? Gatekeepers and a 5-0 clean sweep against Pulse Drunk. It didn't seem like Pulse Drunk even really came close. A couple of rounds maybe. There was the one when we did have a disconnect. It was unfortunate. It did seem like they were doing kind of well that round. But I mean, outside of that, I mean, you can't even say it was that. There was serious dominance here.
Yeah, it looked very good coming out from Gatekeepers. You know, they didn't lose a round today. They beat Impact 5-0. They beat Pulse Drunk 5-0. Gatekeepers really proven their worth.
Remember, double round robin in this group stage, so they're going to play everybody's going to play their group twice. So it's going to be pretty intense. But I mean, let's just talk a little bit about that team composition. First of all, Blossom spam ult.
Yep.
Like, it is a valuable ult. And it's not one of those things that I think people look to as a spammable thing. At least not often. I hadn't ever seen anybody play Blossom like that. Usually they spam EX trees and they're spamming EX space for the damage.
Yeah.
Very rarely do I see Blossoms literally just saving energy to just ult constantly.
Yeah, but it's a really good way for them to play specifically, though, because so often Rutha is forcing so many outs with his EX space, going for the in caps. He's conditioned his opponents to know that he's always going to in cap, which means his opponents are always going to be using iframes when they see the Bako jump, which opens up Jolts for a lot of ult opportunities, which is why we see him get so much value out of it.
But even so, I mean, just look at what the Blossom ult does. He has such good awareness. We know Jolt is, and most support roles kind of have to have a lot of awareness. But he's actually able to make sure that either he gets damage because he's got the awareness, or vice versa, he lets his teammates get damage because the team that he has really helps follow suit. So even his ultimate, he just hits one. Maybe they're going to jump from that, and then he maybe hits another. They're going to jump from that, and then the third one doesn't make contact. That's okay. It's not a huge deal because he's still got the utility usage out of it of forcing movement. So we can actually take a look at how the overarching storyline of how that match went. Some of the highlights that we're going to see here. From Gatekeepers. Strong team. Played very well.
Yeah, very nicely done by this team today. Hot Biscuit playing especially hot on the Ashko. We see this amazing combo. Really, this is the Gatekeepers that we've come to know and love. Incredibly good at finding these openings and getting these kills when they need to. Another pretty clutch moment here as Rutha is able to get that Bulwark stun, flexing his worth on that Bako.
When you get triple volcanoed and triple ulted by an Ashka, you just go,
that's a feels bad.
Damn it, that's going to be on the Odium.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing you can do. You are now part of a highlight reel on the wrong side. And I love that. That ultimate from Rutha, that is a 200 IQ right there.
Yeah.
2,000. Being able to just, I'm going to get orb at least. She probably doesn't think I can do this. I know I'm out of her line of sight. She couldn't even see that far. Just barely catching with the end. He knew she was there. Super cool to watch.
Yeah, very cool play. And like worst case scenario, they were so far ahead they could risk using that energy and not getting any value out of it.